The state, Victoria. The district, East Gippsland. The road, Orbost to Marlo. And the river which flows through these fertile pastures, the Snowy, a river whose source is among rugged mountain peaks. The Snowy runs swiftly because the water falls 7,000 feet in its short 300-mile rush to the ocean. This river is nourished by a most reliable source of fresh water, the snows of the Australian Alps. Before entering Victoria, a proportion of the headwaters of the Snowy are harnessed to generate power and diverted to the Murray and Murrumbidgee irrigation areas. But the Snowy flows swiftly under McKillop's Bridge, built by the Country Roads Board in 1936 and named after George McKillop, who in 1835 was the first settler to cross this river. Downstream from McKillop's Bridge, the river's course is flanked by steep valley walls, and from the surrounding mountains many tributaries join the main stream. To name just a few, there are the Little River, Mountain Creek, Roger Creek, the Walgulmarang, and the Marindal River, which is alleged to be the angler's favorite. This is the gorge of the Little River, not far from its junction with the Snowy. Then, of course, there is the Buchan River, a tributary almost as well known as the river which it joins. A few hundred yards west of Orbost, the Prince's Highway crosses the Snowy on a timber and steel bridge which has weathered and withstood many a flood. Just above Marlo, the Broadrib River joins the Snowy River, which is approaching Journey's End as it flows to its mouth on Victoria's southeastern coast. This coastal area between Marlo and Mallacoota remains something of a frontier, a land of ocean beach and native bush. To open Victoria's southeastern corner, the Country Roads Board has planned the construction of an all-weather road from Marlo to Mallacoota, the first section finishing at Cape Conran. The section Marlo to Cape Conran has been designated Special Project Number 14. Point Hicks, lying 30 miles to the west of Cape Conran, was the first part of Australia's coastline to be sighted by the officer of the watch, Lieutenant Hicks, from Captain Cook's Endeavour on the 19th of April, 1770. Nearly 2 centuries have passed between the lieutenant's cry, "Land ho!" and the year 1966, when the settlers' only access to the bitumen road system, which terminates at Marlo, is this track, which parallels the coast, and in addition to serving a few settlers, is used by fishing parties and holiday makers. But it's a high adventure to travel the track with the certainty of trouble for the driver who does not take matters carefully. Construction of the new road is due to start, and Mr. Ellis, the Country Roads Board project engineer, checks details with the resident clerk of works before the arrival of the contractor. This sandy soil and the light scrub are no problem. Here and there the bush is thick, but there are many stretches which require only the minimum of clearing effort. Generally, construction of this section of the coastal road appears to be reasonably straightforward. There are no rocky barriers, consequently no blasting. The sand hills and hummocks are not high, so the cuts and fills are not large. There's a lagoon beside the road, ensuring a short haul for the water cart. There are culverts to place, but no bridges to construct. That's the credit side. Now, what about the detractions? Probably these could be summed up in one word: sand. Easy to traverse when damp, but difficult when dry. Conditions here are favorable, and construction of the road formation is going at a fine pace. The contractor is using 2 scoops to transport spoil from the higher spots to the depressions. Moist sand is weighty material, and the assistance of a pusher is needed to complete the filling of the scoop and to assist in launching it on its way. Once it starts rolling, transportation and spreading of the load are speedily carried out. This cycle of work is repeated until the required depth of cut and the necessary height of fill are reached. Now, this is a glimpse of difficult situations which can be encountered. It's been raining, the machines are working in a depression, and any vehicle not equipped with tracks or wide, big pneumatic tyres would be in over the axles. Even with these large tyres, the only thing between the power scoop and big trouble is the driving skill of the operator. Everybody expected difficulties in dealing with dry, loose sand, and the contractor had entertained the hope that the initial earth moving would be finished before the summer. But this combination of sand and slush was rather an unexpected problem. Fortunately, this section is not very long, and the going soon becomes firmer underfoot. This sandy loam is ideal for the vibrating roller to show off its paces. A combination of weight and rapid vibration applied by a small engine driving an out-of-balance shaft shakes the grains of sand into place. Constant checking of levels by both the contractor and the Country Roads Board Clerk of Works ensures that construction is proceeding according to the specification and plans. There are only 1 or 2 culverts required in this section, as the sandy soil absorbs the rain along the higher levels. A tow is needed for the semi-trailer delivering these culvert pipes, which are earmarked for a low spot nearly at the end of the section. Again, assistance is required, this time for the grader, trimming the batters through one of the cuttings. The next operation is the winning, loading and placing of the pavement material, in this case marl. A layer of this reddish-coloured material is found a few inches below the surface. After removing the overburden or surface soil, the marl is pushed into heaps by a grader or dozer. It's then a simple matter for the front-end loader to fill the trucks, and off they go on their way. Cartage contractors are paid for each load delivered. Consequently, waste time costs money, and the quicker the operation, the better the contractors are pleased. The marl is spread by a power grader, and a generous quantity of water is used throughout spreading and consolidation. The initial work is ahead of schedule, and special project number 14 is taking shape. In a few short weeks, the narrow, tortuous, sandy track has been transformed into a wide, well-aligned road, which is now being given its final preparation before being primed with tar. This primer coat is the first step of the final operation, that of sealing the road with bitumen. A few days after the primer coat has been applied, the bitumen gang arrives to complete the job. To ensure a clean start to the spray, paper is placed across the road and the bitumen sprayer rolls across the starting line. A spreader follows the sprayer and a layer of broken stone is placed over the bitumen. The stones held by the bitumen form the wearing surface of the road, and that is the pavement over which the traffic will move. That concludes the construction of Special Project number 14, but that's not the end of the story. It's only the beginning. In the years to come, countless people will travel this road, the coastal road which starts where the Snowy River ends. And there's so much to discover in this district, where a short few years ago the original pioneers came droving their cattle in the search for drought-free pastures. Today's explorer, able to travel further in an hour than the drovers traveled in a week, will come seeking new discoveries where surf, beach and bush combine for mile after endless mile. To gain access to the beach, there are tracks through the bushy fringe separating the road from the ocean. In this bush, wildflowers are numerous, the banksia or bottlebrush and the purple flower of the kangaroo apple. That's a rare notice these days. During the holidays, there always seems to be an enthusiast casting from either the beach or the rocks. Nobody appears to be having much luck, although the fishing is reputed to be good. Here at Cape Conran is said to be the home of the crayfish. But for the young in heart, there's always plenty of adventure. In every rock pool there are crabs, starfish, anemones, and a host of other attractions awaiting discovery. Then there are rocks to climb and a coast to explore, and a combination of salt ocean air and sunshine to whet the appetite. Perhaps the sea will reveal some of its secrets, and there are many concerning the ships and men of bygone days. But this same coast today is revealing its secrets to those who are drilling offshore for oil and natural gas. These discoveries hold an exciting future potential for Victoria, which it would be almost impossible to overestimate. With so much development taking place and imminent, the completion of this first section of bitumen road from Marlo to Cape Conran not only makes an extensive area of undeveloped country readily accessible, but it marks the start of a road project of great tourist importance, the construction of an all-weather road from Marlo to Mallacoota.